Hello everyone and welcome back to this channel. So right here we have a new model for drift and rally car, which well known as SG1601, but this one is the latest model, SG1605. So what I included in this package is the transmitter itself, and it does feel a quality in this build, and it requires 4 AA batteries. As you can see, the instruction itself, which is printed in black and white, you can see the parts needed if you need to repair. And right here we have the drift tires, full set of them, 4 of them actually. Is the USB charger included, a screwdriver, a wrench, and the linkage for drifting, which I will be using on this build, as this is mainly for drifting. So let's see what's inside on this chassis. So it's quite different from the first generation, and firstly you will notice the front bumper doesn't include the sponge as the previous model, compared to the previous model. And next one is the rim, and the tire itself, it's not meant for rally, it's more on-road type of tire. The rear bumper is, I think it's a little bit shortened compared to the first model, but it does include the red LED, and it has different body pose, a little bit taller to accommodate the new body style. Next is the new location for the on-off switch, which is on the side. Previously it's on its ESC itself, but on this model it is separated and you can reach a little bit easier. It still has the same motor, 380 brush motor. So right here I've prepared or laid out few of modification upgrades that I want to do on this new RC. Firstly, the shock, the oil shock, specifically for this RC. That's the first one. The second one is the metal diff. Okay, the metal diff, because the original parts, the diff in this RC is plastic, so I want to upgrade to ensure that it can handle some power from the brushless motor for my future upgrade. The ball bearings are included during this purchase. Next, I do have some extra brush motor, 390 size brush motor, 20 ton from MN86, which I'm not using it yet. And lastly, my final upgrade might be the brushless motor. This is a little bit bigger actually, 2840 size motor can, but I'll be combine it with 35 ampere ESC. So this motor I will not be using it, but I'll be buying a new one. So for the first upgrade is the shocks, the oil shocks for this buggy, as it is equipped with friction shock. As you can see, it's a little bit, or actually it's very bouncy. The new shock, oil shock, does include with 2 different length, short and a little bit longer one. So the front one will be equipped with the short shock, and the rear one with a longer shock. It's very fortunate on my purchase all of the shocks are filled with oil already, so I don't have to adjust or add more oil, as it is very sufficient for its usage. This is the next shock, which I open it for inspection, and it's also filled with sufficient oil. So I can proceed with unscrewing the original shocks for the front one first. So I'll be changing the shock for the front first. Another important aspect of this RC, actually, I've just noticed after I've changing the second shock, which is you need to ensure that the suspension is free from any binding. As you can see, the front left of the suspension is binding. So what you need to do is just to unscrew a little bit so that it is loosened up, so the shock will work properly. And it's still binding. It means that it still needs to be loosened up a little bit more. So finally, here's some example of free binding suspension. As you can see, it can move freely without any issue, so that the shock can work properly. I undo on the right side because I forgot to do this previously. So here is the position, the upper arm. You just need to loosen it so that it can move freely. As you can see, it's still binding. What I've done is just try to loosen it bit by bit until you can get this kind of movement or result. And after the front shocks are done, so now we proceed with the rear shocks. It is the same procedure with the front one. It's just that you would need to open the rear bumper to get some access. So after installing both of the rear shocks, it's time to install back the rear bumper with those two screws. Another benefit of these shocks, oil shocks, is that you can set the preload for the spring. So if you have heavier chassis, you can increase the preload for your shock, so it is adjustable for the preload. which is useful as I will install the metal diffs, and metal are heavier, so I will need to use this feature to adjust my setup in future. As I mentioned in this video, I'll be using this RC mainly for drifting, maybe on touring in other time, but it's mainly for drifting. So right here is me changing the on-road tires to the drift tires.
Guess it's been a while since I fell in love, but after last time, don't wanna mess things up. You're so beautiful, and I can't deny. My heart is always with you, my head's always stuck in time. Love, let me go, 'cause I've been holding on for far too long. I've been fighting and keeping strong, now you just gotta let me go. Time, wash away every feeling that can cause me pain. All these memories I can't escape, can you let them all wash away? Let it all wash away, 'cause I don't wanna feel the pain. Love, just let me go, 'cause I don't wanna feel the pain of holding on and keeping strong. So now I'm moving on, I don't wanna feel the same. So love, just let me go.
Thanks for watching until the end. So I hope you enjoy with the upgrades that I've done so far. So if you are interested on this model again, don't forget to hit subscribe and follow this channel, cause in future video I'll be upgrading the diffs to metals. Also I'll be trying to upgrade to a bigger motor, 390 motor 20 ton for the brush, if you still want to use the stock ESC for the brush. And of course in future upgrades I would like to try drifting with brushless system. So if you don't want to miss out those upgrades, please subscribe, and hope to see you on the next video. Thank you.